think we're good, Negley.
Fire in the hole!
Jack Reacher might look like the kind of guy who doesn't need anyone. He's massive, smart, and lethal, but the truth is, even he can't do it all alone. No matter how much he tries to fly solo, trouble always ends up being too big for one man, even if that man is built like a tank. That's where Frances Neagley comes in. She's not just Reacher's old military buddy from their time in the 110th Special Investigators Unit, but also a skilled hacker and, hilariously, a serial enthusiast. Played by Maria Sten, Negley's become a fan favorite, which probably explains why Prime Video has decided to give her a spin-off series all her own, fittingly titled Negley. So while Reacher Season 3 wrapped up in typical fashion, bone-crunching fights, a tightly closed case with a smirk or two, Negley wasn't in the thick of it until much later. That is, until the villains tried to take her out, which pulled her right into the action. Naturally, she ended up being essential in solving the whole mess. And now, with the new spin-off on the horizon, fans will finally get to see what Negley is like when she's leading her own mission, instead of backing up the big guy. Even though we don't have an official release date yet, production on Negley started in February. Considering how quickly the Reacher team has cranked out seasons, even through the chaos of the writers' and actors' strikes, a late 2025 release doesn't seem too far-fetched. Unlike the main Reacher series, which adapts Lee Child's novels, Negley is set to break new ground with an original story. That doesn't mean it'll abandon the Tone fans' love, though. It's still very much in the mystery thriller lane. According to the official synopsis, the show kicks off when Negley learns a close friend from her past has died under suspicious circumstances. Fueled by grief and a thirst for justice, she dives headfirst into the investigation, using everything she picked up from her time with Reacher and her army days to get to the truth. Now, because Negley isn't built like a small skyscraper, you can expect a different kind of action here. That's not to say she can't throw down, she absolutely can, but her real edge lies in tech and strategy. She's basically the brains to Reacher's brawn, and this new series looks like it'll let her shine in ways we haven't seen before. Fans were kind of hoping that Reacher Season 3 would lay the groundwork for Negley's spin-off, but that didn't really happen. The season wrapped up its storyline cleanly, like usual, and didn't leave any obvious threads dangling for the spin-off to pick up. That said, the deep history between Reacher and Negley will still be a key part of her story, just not tied directly to the case from Season 3. And yes, don't worry, Reacher himself is confirmed to show up. Alan Ritchson will make a guest appearance, likely swooping in when Negley needs a hand most, reversing the dynamic we usually see. Honestly, it wouldn't feel right to launch a Reacherverse show without a cameo from the man himself, and Prime Video knows that. Behind the scenes, Negley has some familiar names working the script. It's co-created by Reacher showrunner Nick Santora, teaming up again with Nicholas Wooten, who wrote for CBS's Scorpion. Alongside Maria Sten and Ritchson, the cast includes Damon Harriman, Matthew Del Negro, Adeline Rudolph, Grayson Holt, and Jasper Jones. This lineup hints that we'll be getting a diverse and intriguing mix of characters supporting Negley's journey. What's especially fun is how Season 3 gave Negley one of Reacher's iconic lines from the books, and somehow, she pulled it off even better. In the finale, Negley delivers a sharp observation about Reacher's true motivation. She says he's not necessarily out to defend the weak or uphold justice. He just hates the powerful people who think they can get away with anything. Interestingly, this exact sentiment comes straight from Lee Child's novel Persuader, where Reacher says it to another character, Dominique Cole. This moment does more than just reference the books. It reveals how deeply Negley understands Reacher, maybe even more than he understands himself. It's a rare moment of introspection for a character who's usually all action, and it shows how much Negley's presence helps keep him grounded. Reacher may not always be driven by the purest motives. He's more of an anti-hero after all, but he still ends up doing the right thing, even if it's for the wrong reasons. Negley's ability to cut through Reacher's tough exterior isn't new, but Season 3 really drives it home. When she drops that line, Reacher just smiles and jokes that it took her long enough to figure him out, but you can tell her words hit deeper than he lets on. Throughout the season, his actions were fueled by revenge, not justice. He even joins forces with the DEA, not because it's the right thing to do, but because it offers him a shot at avenging Cole's death. Negley reminds him, and the audience, that motives matter, especially when you're walking a fine line between justice and vengeance. and here's where the contrast between the two characters becomes crystal clear. While Reacher avoids tech like it's the plague, he doesn't even own a phone. Negley embraces it. She's a modern-day sleuth who uses computers, surveillance, and hacking as part of her everyday toolkit. One scene from Season 3's LA story makes this point loud and clear. Negley confronts a guy who sent assassins after her, and when he doubts she'll actually shoot him, she casually tells him that she's running a program that makes it look like she's just shopping online. So even if she did pull the trigger, no one would suspect a thing. Try imagining Reacher pulling that off. Yeah, not happening. Maria Sten, fun fact, is also a writer and served as a story editor on Big Sky. That creative edge probably helps explain why Negley feels like such a well-rounded character, balancing her smarts, skill, and a good dose of humor. Plus, she's a bit of a nerd too. She's been spotted gaming online during a case, and unlike Reacher, she actually has a place she calls home, Chicago to be exact. Because of all this, the tone of Negley is bound to be different. Where Reacher leans into old-school muscle-driven action, Negley looks like it'll favor stealth, smarts, and a more modern tech-heavy vibe. That shift was already hinted at in one of Season 3's standout action sequences when Negley outsmarts a pair of assassins who sneak into her office. Instead of going full Reacher and smashing heads, she uses distractions like a printer and some quick thinking to gain the upper hand. And that's kind of the point. Negley should stand on its own. Fans already love the character, but for the spin-off to succeed, it can't just be a watered-down version of Reacher. It needs its own identity, one built around a character who approaches problems differently, lives differently, and thinks differently. Negley is grounded, brilliant, and has the kind of moral clarity that Reacher sometimes lacks. That makes her story worth telling, and makes her show something worth getting excited about. Whether it's chasing leads across Chicago, decoding digital footprints, or taking down corrupt power players in her own strategic way, Negley is shaping up to be a fresh take on the Reacher formula. It promises the same intensity, the same high-stakes drama, and the same satisfying smackdowns, but with a distinctly different flavor. And with Maria Sten leading the charge, there's every reason to believe this spin-off will be just as addictive as the show that launched it. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.